I don't put out a lot of tutorial videos. I plan to because there is a lot to this game. I am so sorry if this tutorial seems boring. I am new at this, but I hope this helps. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you have found this video, you're either thinking about getting Bassmaster 2022 or you have done the tutorial and it has left you with a lot of questions. The tutorial on this game is not the most helpful. It is one of the biggest frustrations of us streamers, new players, and I am here to help you. So let's go over some basics. So you've clicked on a venue, you're sitting at the dock in your boat. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drive around until you see a lot of fish pop up on the top left sonar. And I'm not talking a few fish. I'm talking about a lot. Because the more of a fish parade that you have, the more fish are going to be in that spot. As you can see, there are a few fish popping up. This means that there's probably about, I would say, 3 fish in this spot right here. Try to find spots where your sonar, when you stop, has a ton of fish on it. As you can see in this spot, on the top left corner of my screen, there is what we call a fish parade. That means that there are fish in this spot. Where in this spot? It could be to the left of the boat, it could be to the right of the boat, it could be in front of the boat, or it could be under the boat. The best thing to do is to just cast around, find out where they are. You will find them. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to push X to get out of the boat seat and start fishing. Now that we've gotten out of our boat, you're going to want to find a direction to cast into by moving around the left stick and the right stick. Once you've found a pretty good spot to cast to, you're going to push the left trigger and pull back on the right joystick simultaneously, like this. As you can see, we're in a fishing stance now. On the bottom left corner, a bar has shown up. What we're going to want to do is pull the right trigger and fill the bar up before it hits the end. How far the bar has filled up is how far you're going to cast. Since it's pretty shallow here, I'm going to immediately reel in my reel holding down the left trigger, bringing the lure back to me. Now let's get on to the basics of catching the fish, setting the hook, and reeling them in. As you can see, my previous spot was over here on this bank, just to the right of this tree. I have moved over a bit because all of the fish that were on my sonar were directly under my boat. I wanted to get a little bit better direction of casting, so I've moved my boat back a bit. Now let's cast it and see what we can see. As you can see, the moment my hook hit the water, there are fish here. That is what you're going to want to look for. This will help you if you have a great visual of the fish. You can see if they're trying to come after your hook. I have let my hook sink a little bit longer this time because it's a little bit deeper here. You can see the depth of your hook by this meter right here on the bottom left corner of the screen. You want to try to keep your hook at the same depth that the fish are. Now I'm pulling on that left trigger, reeling in a bit. Sometimes the fish, like for you, to hold down on that left trigger, release it for a bit, and then pull back down on it. See here, I've released the trigger. It sank for a bit. It's also because of the lure I'm using. It does better whenever we do this stop and go motion. You can see I had a fish interested in it. That also lets me know that my stop and go is working. And we have a taker. It was the gar. Immediately after the fish takes my hook, I pull back on the right stick. Sometimes you may need to move it to the right or the left, depending on however you need to set your hook. Sometimes moving it all around just kind of helps. This is something else that'll get a lot more familiar to you after you start catching a few fish. You can see here on the bottom left corner, it says fish on. That means we're going to be fighting this fish. Pay attention to this meter right here. You see how it says my hook is strained? That means that we are going to need to push down on the D-pad. Depending on how strained the hook is, you're going to need to either just push it a few times or you're going to need to hold it down. Whatever you need to do to get this meter back in the green. As you can see, we release some tension by pushing down the D-pad and the meter is back in the green. I also want to talk about the bar that is beside the meter. This is how well the hook is in the fish's mouth. If this meter starts to go down and it reaches this point, you have the possibility of losing the fish. The entire time we are reeling this fish in, we are holding down that left trigger. As you can see there, for a moment, my hook was slipping. Yes, that is the opposite of the hook being strained, meaning that if the hook is at a constant slip and you see an exclamation point down here on the bottom, you're going to want to push up on the D-pad instead of down. Same thing goes, depending on how much the hook is slipping, you're going to want to either hold it down or tap up. The fish was already tired the moment it got to the boat. We were able to net it and it's in my hands. That's the sheer beginning of this game. There's a lot to this game, but I figured I would kind of reiterate the tutorial because it does not give you a lot of descriptions. I hope you found this video helpful. This is the first tutorial I've ever put out. You're more than welcome to follow my Twitch channel. I am always there to answer any question you guys have about the game. You can watch me fish, see what kind of fish I bring in, check out some of my spots. I hope you guys have an something like that, words are hard, awesome afternoon. And I will catch you guys later. If you like it, go ahead and hit the like button.